We are currently landed on an ice planet. I'll show you where we're at in a minute, but let me show you where we're headed. So far in our journey, we started at Earth, and we're at the moon. And our first camp was Lagoon Nebula in Herschel 36 that put us 4,500 light years away from Earth. And the next camp is still in the same area of space. It's Camp 1A. We have Camp 2A, Camp 2B, 3A, 4A, until we get to Camp 2. And that's going to be 3,293 light years away. No, wait a minute. Sorry. That's from distance from Camp 1A. The distance from Earth is going to be 6,567. So Camp 2 is going to put us 6,567 light years away from Earth. So what we have to do from Laguna Nebula, though, is we're going to Gibbs Bridge, and there is no landing site recommended. So basically it's telling us we need to find one. So that's kind of where we're headed. It's 2,311 light years from Lagoon Nebula, so it's not quite as far as the jump we just made. And looking at the map provided, we just left Lagoon Nebula, and we're kind of headed out into this space out here, right around in here. That's what I believe anyway. So yeah, we're heading across space this way, and that'll be our Camp 1A. I'm about maybe halfway there, and I got kind of tired of flying, and so I decided to land on a planet instead of just stopping in space, because I figured I needed some practice landing after the first landing that I made at Nebula, the Lagoon Nebula, where I damn near crashed. So that's where we're setting, and it's just basically an icy planet. Let's take a look at what system we're in. Astra?
Yes, Rudy.
Galaxy map?
Galaxy map.
Okay, so this is where we're at, which probably doesn't make too much sense, but in the trip to the Lagoon Nebula, the first camp, we pretty much went straight up. But in this case now, we're going at an angle. We're going about that way. So let's put our destination in. Okay, so we're heading to Sagittarius JTV B70. And like I say, I've been kind of using this grid to figure out where I'm at. So let's go ahead and enter that location. Okay, so our next destination from where we're at, where that Gibbs Bridge is Sagittarius JTV B70. And as you see, it's going kind of cross diagonally from what we've been traveling. I've been using these grids to kind of determine where I'm at. So that's where we're going. Let's take a look. And it's a little bit farther than I can jump. My average jump is about 978. Well, what happens is the game will not plot a route farther than about 1,000 light years, and my jump range is about 978. So I've got to find a way to get about 978 from where I'm at. So let's go back to where I'm landed. And as you see, I've been using the grids to kind of go diagonally in that direction. So let me kind of head that way. Kind of that way is what I've been doing. This is how I've been doing it. I go out diagonally until I find a star that's about 978 light years away from where I currently am. That's how I've been doing this, in the direction I want to travel in the long run. It's not very precise, but I don't know how else to do it. Okay, so I did find a system that's exactly 978. I might bounce back a little bit. I don't know. That's 987. Wow, how does that work? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and head to this one. Let's see if I can get a course, and it did plot a course for me, so that's where we're headed. Astra,
Yes, Rudy.
run diagnostics.
Diagnostics. Stand by. Confirmed.
Launch to orbit.
Stand by for launch. Setting thrust vector control to auto. Ascending. Orbital rendezvous procedures initiated. Charging Super Cruise Drive.
Frameshift drive charging. Engage.
Okay, we're leaving our planet. Down there someplace. There we go. And we're off into space. Okay, let's go ahead and line her up to our first jump. Power to engines.
Max engines.
Engage jump drive.
Charging the
Frameshift
FDL
drive
drive.
charging.
Okay, lessons that I've learned out here in space. The first one is fuel scooping. The technique generally used is that you line up to where you want to go. There's my destination, and you kind of skip off the star. But here's what you have to do: you can't be watching TV like I do and flying. You need to pay attention to how close you get to that star. That's how I got hurt. My hull is down to 92%. Now, part of that was because I almost crashed landing on that planet. But I went down to, I think, 98% or 96% from getting sucked into a star because I got too close. What it does if you get too close is it pulls you out of superdrive and damages your ship, heat damage. So I now, instead of going full bore, I kind of slowly go towards the planet until the scoop comes on, and then I kind of pull up and try not to get more than 60-some% heat. And you can see it up there, my heat's up to 65. but my
Fuel
scoop
scooping
is pretty
complete.
fast. And then now, immediately pull out of here. And you can see my heat level is 74%. If it gets up to 100, I start taking damage.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Okay, here's the other thing I learned. I wait until my temperature gets down to in the like below 40 before I hit my drive, my hyperdrive, because when you hit hyperdrive, your engines start heating up, and if you're already hot, you're gonna overheat and do damage. So full impulse.
Maximum velocity engaged.
Engage jump drive.
Jumping.
Frameshift drive charging.
The next thing I learned is once you start into hyperdrive, you want to cut your engines, completely stop them. Stop engines.
Cutting engines. Stop.
Engage.
That way, when you pop out into the next system, you're not doing full speed, because you're going to run right into the star. You'll pop right out and hit that star if you're not careful, if you're not paying attention. So let's see, our next destination is this way. I don't know if this is a star that I can scoop from, but we'll give it a shot. Quarter impulse.
1/4 impulse. Nice and slow.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Yeah, you have to be careful if you get too close to the star. Full impulse.
Maximum impulse.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
It takes a practiced hand. What I've been doing to be on the safe side is I wait till the scoop engages, and then I stop so that I don't overheat. Now, the guys that are used to doing this, they kind of skim like I just did. Engage jump drive.
Engaging
Frameshift
jump.
drive charging.
Stop engines.
Stop all thrusters.
Engage.
Okay, so we've made about 3 or 4 jumps. Let's see how many we have to make. Left panel. Okay, it looks like we have 31 jumps left to make, so that's quite a few jumps. And that's averaging around 29 to 30 light years per jump. And one of the things I've been forgetting that I just forgot in the last 3 jumps is I got out of routine. Exit. Exit. I got out of routine. I should be scanning. Every time I enter a system, I should scan and get the system information. I just discovered 19 new anomalies, or astronomical objects. So I need to do that. I missed the last 2 or 3. Bad on me. But see, I can sell that information when I get back to civilization. Quarter impulse.
Quarter impulse.
Fuel scooping.
Yeah, I'll go till I hit about 60. Stop engines.
Space brake.
Now the scoop is
Fuel
pretty
scooping
fast.
complete.
Full impulse. If I had the big
Maximum velocity engaged.
If I had the big scoop, I could skim a lot easier because it does about 30% faster than the one I'm
Fuel
using.
scoop disengaged.
As you see, the one I'm using is actually pretty quick, but there is a bigger one out there, but it's 28 million credits, a little bit over my budget at the time. Engage jump drive.
Preparing for
Frameshift
jump.
drive charging.
Stop engines.
Space break.
Engage.
Your destination is this way. Do a quick scan. Quarter impulse.
1 quarter impulse. Nice and slow.
Fuel scooping.
If I go slow enough, I can actually skim this without getting too deep into the star. Because the scoop is pretty quick.
Fuel scooping complete.
Full impulse.
Maximum impulse.
Left panel. Okay, looks like we've got 2 jumps to our destination. This is going to be our next camp. It would be Camp 1A. So let's head out. Close. Full impulse.
Maximum impulse.
System jump now, please.
Affirmative. Preparing for jump. Engaging exit protocols.
Do the quick scan. Fill her up. Fill her up.
10% impulse. Scooping fuel.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Full impulse.
Maximum velocity engaged.
Open system map.
System map.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
So there's nothing here but the star. System map off.
Closing map.
We did do a scan, didn't we? Yep, we did. Okay. System jump now, please.
Affirmative. Preparing for jump.
It gets pretty lonely out here, tell you what.
Engage.
Astra does talk every once in a while, but
Engaging exit protocols.
fill the tanks.
10% impulse. Scooping fuel.
Fuel scooping.
Left panel. Close. System map on.
System cartography.
Fuel scooping complete.
There's a few planets here, and one of them you can land on. Let's take a look at these. System map off.
Closing map.
Stop engines.
Cutting engines. Stop here.
Let's scan the star first. Then get out of here before we get too hot. Okay, it's a red dwarf star. What's a red dwarf? Full impulse.
Maximum velocity engaged.
Open system map.
System map.
Alright, let's take a look at the
Fuel
first
scoop
one.
disengaged.
Closed system map.
Closing map.
Half impulse.
Half impulse.
We want to hit that star. We don't want to hit that planet head on. I don't think. Probably not be a good thing clear out here. Zoom out.
Increasing sensor range.
Stop engines.
Space brake.
One quarter impulse.
1/4 impulse. Nice and slow.
Haven't had any major accidents again like we did on the first landing. I didn't get too close to a star. Full impulse.
Maximum impulse.
I wonder if that's the next one in line though. Half impulse.
Okay, 50%. Engaged.
Open system map.
System cartography.
We're way out there. Let's check this one. That should be closer. Closed system map.
Closing map.
So we have one that's going to be closer. Three-quarter impulse.
Acknowledged. 3/4 impulse now.
Now I don't usually scan every system because it would take me a couple years to get this trip over. Normally what I do is just come into a system and scan the system, grab some fuel, and head to the next system. But since we're close to our next campsite, I thought I'd scan this system here. I'm going to have to scan the next system because I don't have a campsite. 1/4 impulse.
Quarter impulse.
We need to find one. 10%.
Thrusters 10%.
Now this thing scans faster the closer you get. Open system map.
System map.
Let's check this one. Now the next one we can actually land on. One-quarter impulse.
1/4 impulse. Nice and slow.
I think you can fly faster towards the planet and just don't go right on it. Go off to the left or right or up or down so you don't plow into the planet. And as you go by, I think it scans fairly quickly. 3/4 impulse.
3/4 impulse.
Let's see what happens if I do that. If I just kind of skim that planet. It's probably where I'm going to make another big mistake and plow into it. Full impulse.
Maximum impulse.
See if I can find a faster way to scan the planets. If you scan too far out, it takes quite a while to do. 3/4 impulse.
Acknowledged.
It takes
3/4 impulse.
quite a
now.
while to actually scan the planet. I think the closer you get. Half impulse.
Half impulse.
There it goes. Did I get it? Quarter impulse.
Quarter impulse.
No, see, it's not getting it. You have to be targeted on it. Oh, it's an icy body. Open system map.
System cartography.
All right, let's check this one out. See what it's all about. Closed system map.
Closing map.
And shouldn't be too far away. 1/2 impulse. 1/2 impulse. Half impulse.
OK, 50%. Engaged.
I don't know what those bodies are in the distance. There's one there, over there, and then one to the right. I don't know what those are. They're pretty interesting. I did try to fly towards one in a system, and I flew for like, oh man, an hour, and I never got any closer to it. So they're pretty far out, whatever they are. All right, let's see what this is. Stop engines.
Stop all thrusters.
Open system map.
System map.
All right, let's see what we have here. Take a look at the information. No object selected. Oh, well, that's the object right there. It is an ice world, composed mainly of water, ice. Worlds like this will not have had much heating in the past, forming in the cooler regions of a star system, and have retained many volatiles as solids within their crust. Okay. Earth mass is 0.1027. I'm always afraid when I get out here I'm going to find a planet that has really heavy gravity and it's going to suck me down and make me crash, make me cry. Closed system map.
Closing map.
All right, let's get this done. Get on our way. Quarter impulse.
1/4 impulse. Nice and slow.
10%.
Thrusters 10%.
Another icy body. Open system map.
System cartography.
Right, I've got a couple left. I think this is the same, the one next to the one we just did. Closed system map. Closed system map.
Closing map.
Yes, it is. And let's grab it. These planets are pretty close together. It's another icy body. Open system map.
System map.
Close. Full impulse.
Maximum velocity engaged.
Alrighty. Got a couple left and then we're done. You know, it's kind of funny being out here in space. It's just me and Astra. Nobody else around. We're a long ways away from Earth. And we just started the journey. But it's so quiet. You know, I tend to play this late at night with all the lights off. And it's really quiet. I've got headphones on. There's no speakers. I can't interrupt anybody except for if I talk to Astra, they wonder who I'm talking to. But it's been kind of interesting because it's so dark and quiet, and you're so kind of alone out here. I'm finding I have...
I'd like to speak. Is that okay?
Of course, Astra.
We should reference the newsfeed. Next time we're at a station, try and catch up with what's going on in the galaxy. Up to you.
%?
Thrusters 10%.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Alright, another icy body. Alright, let's head to this icy planet, find us a landing spot. This will be our Gibbs Bridge. The reason they call this Gibbs Bridge, this campsite 1A, is it was discovered by Commander Gibbonisi, and this was before you could actually land on a planet. And he writes that this system might offer an interesting perspective on just how close a planet and its moon may orbit each other, and would it be possible to build a bridge from one to the other. And so that's why he called it Gibbs Bridge. So there you go. The orbital body is 4A. 4A would be the moon that he's talking about. And there's no surface coordinates, so we're just going to have to find a place to land and make our own campsite. Full impulse. Alright, we're at a little different angle. Quarter impulse.
Quarter impulse.
Now I'm going to take it a lot easier than I did the first time because I don't want to crash land, and I can't afford to take any more hull damage. Well, you know, depending on how much it is, but there's no reason to. So I'm going to take it nice and slow.
Do you mind if I speak to you about something?
Okay, go ahead.
I've noticed recently that you frequently engage your thrusters to a dangerously high velocity both on approach and departure from the landing areas. It's just a reminder to you. Arrogance frequently puts yourself and others at risk. I recommend a little more caution.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Isn't that just what I was just talking about? I'm heeding your advice, Astra. I'm going to take it nice and easy. Half impulse.
Okay, 50%. Engaged.
Quarter impulse.
1/4 impulse. Nice and slow.
Now, I'm not quite sure what kind of planet this is. %.
Thrusters 30%.
And I don't know if it makes any difference where I land.
Orbital flight engaged.
Okay, I don't want to come in too tight here, but Wait till we get into glide. Those streaks must be ice. Well, there's a lot of craters. Alright, now we're in glide mode. And like I said, I don't know if it really makes too much difference where I land. Try to find a smooth spot. Deploy landing gear.
The landing gear is down and locked.
Alright, down we go. Well, it looks like it gets smoother as you get closer. Well, pick a spot and we're going to land. I know that one of the things that kind of bugs me, it makes me really nervous, is you can actually hear the creaking sound. So it's like your ship's being crushed, if you will. It sounds like a tin can. Zoom out.
Increasing sensor range.
Zoom out max.
Increasing sensors to maximum range.
Right, there's some kind of a point of interest over there. What was that? There. Half impulse?
Half impulse.
I don't know what that is. Alright, let's come in a little bit. 45% or 45% grade. Might be a little bit too steep. Try about 35, 30. Now it went away. Wonder what it was. It's kind of gone now. I wonder if I'm too low for it to register. I think that might be the case. Whoa. Interesting. I must be getting pretty close. Quarter impulse. Stop engines.
Cutting engines. Stop here.
Alright, let me get... I don't know how far I am up. I'm not used to reading the instruments. Ah, we're real close. Okay, it's telling me go down, go down. Now, wait till that bar in the center goes yellow. Okay, now up. close. All right, wait a minute. Alignment, okay. And we're down, safe and sound. That was a lot better than the last time, I tell you. So here we are. Deploy SRV.
Deploying.
All right, let's go take a look. Let's see what we can see here. All right, well, let's see now that radar, that blip in the middle, that's kind of a whitish looking, and then it changes sound. That's showing me that's my ship. So if I start traveling around, there I'm picking something up that way. Alright, well, I'm going to head back to the ship. There's my ship. Won't let me target that either. Well, we have set up camp here, so I'm going to call this an episode. And then when we come back, we'll head off to our next destination. Do a little bit more exploring. So I'll see you then.